One of the best football weekends of the year, and if you're anything like me, you're going to be watching football and scrolling through buying some football cards. So come on, let's go take a look and see what auctions have in store for us this weekend. Hey, this is Chad with Pack to the Future podcast, and welcome to another Fanatics Football Friday. This week, we're going to be going over Fanatics Weekly Auction number 208, plus we've got some football cards over on Golden Auctions Weekly Auction as well. So let's browse through some cards, learn a few things, and maybe you'll find something that just so happens to make you want to pull the trigger on spending some money. So this week, I have gone with recommended to see what Fanatics is recommending for me. Typically, I just start from the maximum price, but we'll see. We'll switch it up a little bit this week and see what they have to offer us. So first two, no surprise, we still get big cards, and the first of which being with this Joe Burrow cracked ice auto. That sure is a nice card, and boy, you got to wonder about Burrow. You know, maybe if he gets the right coaching, if he finally gets an offensive line, he could sure put together, it would feel that he could put together perhaps a little dynasty run with the Bengals, but it just, outside of that deep run a couple of years ago, just hasn't manifested. We see a CJ Stroud, and I think that we're going to see a few CJ Strouds this week in auction, especially with the Texans coming in with that rip-roaring defense that they have right now, that some people are projecting them to make a bit of a run in the playoffs because of that. And maybe we just so happen to see CJ Stroud get hot. And subsequently, I think we're going to see a few of his cards up for sale this week. And look at this. Another one, a gold wave rookie card of CJ Stroud, and then a Spectra monumental gold Nike patch. Now, that's kind of interesting. We've talked a lot about player worn versus game used patches over the past few episodes. Let's take a look at Spectra. I think we know what the answer to this patch is going to be, but let's just see. Enclosed authentic memorabilia is not from any specific event. Zooming in there didn't necessarily help. So if that matters to you, maybe not the card for you, but it is a 101, and boy, it sure is a good-looking card. So, you know, maybe that CJ Stroud is something that you're looking for if you are like my guy Nebrolian, a Texans fan. So scroll down a little bit further. Let's talk about the 97 Flair Showcase. So this Legacy collection, in particular for me with 97 Flair, these are beautiful cards. And I know they get a ton of love in basketball. In football, I think we're starting to see that. This masterpiece 1/1 of Andre Reed, this is a really good looking card. I love the back of this, stamped in almost like a purple type foil. The only 1/1 masterpiece edition. Just a beautiful way to highlight the 1/1. And of course, his name is stamped in that same foil. It's a great looking card. This is a row 1. You'll even see row 0, which tend to be more rare, but when it's a 1/1, you're not going to get much more rare. So that's a pretty cool card, and a shout out to Andre Reed and his failed Super Bowl attempts with the Bills. We see a Reggie White, PMG red. Josh Allen, boy, you know, Select out of 2008 for me was one of the last fun years of Select. Let's pop this one open and take a closer look at it. I don't think at this time Select had fully gone retail, but boy, this sure is a good looking card. And a B is for Beckett, 9.5 gem mint. Whew, that copper sure looks good. And you just got to wonder this year with the AFC seemingly wide open if it's the Bills' year. Let's take a look at the playoff bracket for the Bills. And I got to tell you, even with the AFC seemingly open, you know, no one's taking my Broncos seriously. And I get it. When you're not blowing teams out, it's hard to really be taken as a threat. But with the Bills going up against the Jags in round 1, I think this is a fascinating game and one of the ones that I'm most looking forward to this weekend. That Jaguars team is really good, and they have been playing really well. They've got a bit of a streak going into the playoffs. Trevor Lawrence looks incredible, and I had written him off a year or two ago, but he looks really good. To be honest, it wouldn't surprise me if they easily take care of the Bills in the first round. And if that happens, you know, what are people going to do with Josh Allen cards? I tend with football players, you know, I grew up being a Broncos fan, and of course Elway didn't win his 2 Super Bowls until the very end. Of course, he went to 3 others and failed miserably in each of the other 3. But I don't like to write off these quarterbacks until they're done. But boy, the critics may just have a field day with Josh Allen. But I think this is a great card. It's field level. It is beautiful, and I think someone's going to have a lot of fun going after that this week, especially if they win. See more Josh Allen, more Joe Burrow. Got a Garrett Wilson with these XRC. Now, the XRCs are kind of fun cards. They look good, and I think Select did a really good job with those. Gold Kaboom, you had to wonder how long it was going to take for one of those to surface. This one of Saquon, and already at $2,600. Just a massive price. How about this Drew Brees, this Reebok logo? And it does appear that he signed it. Now, it looks like it's a sticker auto, and it's just terribly placed. But this is a pretty cool card, and it really makes me wonder. Authentic game-worn brand logo from National Treasures 2009. That's a cool card. That's a really cool patch. And it just kind of feels like that's a low price for a game-worn patch, even though it's a sticker auto. Is this a 101 as well? I don't see anything on the back. Oh, no, there it is. It's hidden down on the bottom. Interesting. It's a pretty cool card. I like that a lot. Be interesting to see what that goes for, and to see if I happen to bid on it as soon as I end this recording. Another Color Blast with Mahomes. These are great looking cards. You know, I've been critical of the Color Blast being in so many different products. I get it. They're such good looking cards, and this Mahomes, you know, this one's just an authentic, and perhaps you can pick that one up at a little bit of a discount because of that, but it's still a great looking card. Another CJ Stroud. Boy, someone or multiple people are sure seeming to unload him. Drake May. A lot of people are projecting the Patriots. They've got a good formula. They're the number 2 seed. And you got to wonder if they're going to make it through to the Super Bowl. Boy, we're just seeing playoff quarterbacks just getting pushed here. More and more. We got Barry Flashback. You know, the Crusades are kind of fun cards. So this is 98 Leaf, which I believe was Randy Moss's rookie year. Perhaps why we see him in Rookie and Stars products. This one's numbered to 100. Those Crusade cards, I like them a lot. You know, the color scheme here is a little bit difficult. You would love to see him in that Vikings purple to match with the purple background, but it's still a really cool card, and a Gem Mint 10 too. So that one's quite a bit of fun. Brock Purdy, what is going to happen to the Niners this postseason? We saw them in a couple of weeks ago in that shootout with the Bears. That was one of the most exciting games of the NFL season. Purdy looked amazing. And then they just completely laid an egg last week with the NFC West on the line. And the Niners, I think, are one of those really fascinating teams to watch. This flawless Brock Purdy rookie card numbered to 20. This is a beautiful card. Like, the color scheme, even with PSA, makes the card pop even more. For the Niners colors, the patch is really cool. I have to imagine that the patch is not affiliated, which it's not, which is unfortunate. However, the autograph is on card. It's a great looking autograph, and the card itself is Gem Mint 10 with that rookie badge. That's a cool card. That one is super exciting. And if you were a Niners fan, oh man, and a Brock Purdy collector, that'd be a pretty fun one to watch over the next couple of days. Trevor Lawrence, boy, we are just seeing these playoff quarterbacks getting hammered in here. And speaking of which, Bo Nix making his first appearance. This is a 1/1 out of Phoenix. Now, is this a card that I should be looking at? I don't own any Bo Nix, to be honest with you. I've been burned by Broncos quarterbacks ever since Peyton left, that, to be honest with you, I kind of quit on active Broncos players to some extent. But this Phoenix is a really good looking card. The color scheme somewhat makes that blue and orange pop. Rookie card badge. You've got the 1/1 on the back. Ooh, it's a pretty card. And a B is for Beckett Gold label too, so that's pretty fun. All right, what else are we getting into? Matthew Stafford. Let's take a look at this National Treasures rookie patch auto numbered to 99. So the National Treasures RPA is thought to be the true RPA, at least over in basketball cards. Now, do we see any identification of a rookie card on the front of this? We don't, so that's kind of a bummer in football. However, a beautiful 3-color patch with stitching, perhaps an on-card autograph, maybe? A little bit tricky to see. What do they tell us about the jersey? The enclosed piece of jersey was cut from authentic jersey personally worn by Stafford on May 16th. It's got to be a rookie premiere, and it is the rookie premiere. I think this is so cool. I love when they put the date on here, even if it's not associated with the game. It just adds a little bit more personalization and makes you know that they didn't just go pull it off a rack. And to me, that is very important. It's got a 10 autograph. The card's numbered to 99. I think if you're a Lions fan or a Rams fan, this card's awesome. And it doesn't surprise me one bit that it's $1,500. Now, I know I do a lot of comparison to basketball cards. And the reason that I do that is that's a bit of what I grew up with. And even when I got back into collecting, basketball was still kind of my jam. But I think it's interesting to see the parallel between what is happening, at least in my view, with football cards now compared to what happened with basketball cards, 20 years ago as they're starting to take off, in my eyes. Matthew Stafford is probably going to be a Hall of Famer. And certainly if he makes another Super Bowl run, definitely a Hall of Famer. If this was a basketball player who had won an NBA title and was likely going to be a Hall of Famer and the star of the team, what do you think this price would be? Undoubtedly 2x, maybe 5x, maybe more for an NT RPA, BGS 9.5, Auto 10. So for me, it's a fun exercise to think about that for comparison. Coming up next, this is a fun one to take a look at. 2006, we've got Montana, Elway, and Marino. And it also says Barry Sanders. Am I missing the Barry Sanders? Perhaps it's on the back of the card. But 3 at minimum, unless we've got another 3-pack on the back of the card. Perhaps 6. Whew. Jim Brown, Earl Campbell, Barry Sanders, numbered to 95. That is a good-looking card. Now, it is Leaf, which oftentimes gets a bit dinged even back from the early 2000s. But you can see the photos of the players at least have their NFL symbols on them. This is Leaf Limited. These are sticker autographs. You don't get a ton of color on the card, which perhaps makes it not pop as much. But holy cow, 6 of arguably, the top 10 players of their positions of all time, and you're getting 6 autographs. This is less than $1,000. Like, it's a pretty cool card. Let's just go ahead and keep an eye on that one. 2013 Select, the first year of Select. This is another card of note, at least in my eyes. As you know, I've talked about the first year of each brand of football cards that comes out. As always strikes my eye. Of course, one of my favorite cards in my collection is my 2013 Select Peyton Manning Gold, PSA 9. But this Brady, of course, gold I've never been in the market for, but I gotta wonder, what does the silver BGS 9.5 of Brady look like? And what does the pop report? So let's go ahead and take a look at that. All right, so we head on over to Card Ladder, and we can see that one sold as recently as just a few months ago. We had a couple within the last few months, both fixed price, that sold for around $2,000. The last auction that we had was back in the summer that sold for significantly less. So you really got to wonder about the price jump here. But let's take a look at this. Card Ladder values it at $1,800. That is a beautiful card, and I love the design of that year of Select. Love, love, love it. There are 19 total BGS 9.5s. There are 28 PSA 10s. It's not a lot, and it is a playing days Brady with his Patriots. I think that is a pretty significant card, and let's go ahead, and your guy here is going to keep an eye on that one too. Maybe I'll add the first Brady to my collection. All right, Justin Jefferson, more Brady, more Mahomes. You can see the 2025 Kabooms featured original artist of Kaboom, which on our main podcast, Pack to the Future, if you go back a couple of years, we actually had the original artist on for, I think it was like a 2-hour episode where we went through the entire history of Kaboom. So if you love Kabooms and want to know about each and every year and how they formed and when they introduced these parallels like these golds and hear from the original artist, you can go to our website, pttfpodcast.com, search for that episode, and you can listen to it there. More Color Blast, more booklets. Boy, look at the Hall of Famers on that one. Again, booklets just don't get the love. And I get it. They're hard to display. They're outside of our traditional line of thinking when it comes to displaying these cards. I've seen cards like this Flawless. Let's talk about this. This Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Brett Favre from 2021. This pops up a lot in my save searches, particularly because the Manning-Brady rivalry, at least when he was with the Broncos, was huge. And I so loved watching these guys play against each other. But the hard part for this is, even though these patches are incredible for these two, Favre, you just seem to get a little napkin patch. Flawless, right around the time of the pandemic, went to player worn at best, and you're just not going to get traditionally game worn. But look at this. I stand corrected, and that's why you look at each of these. The Brady's game worn. No kidding. The player worn by Manning and Favre, and then game worn Brady. And that Brady is a 4-color patch. That's pretty cool. I like that a lot. Undoubtedly, this is going to get a look from me. All right, let's check out one more page from Fanatics. And as we do that, I want to remind everyone, whether you're enjoying reviewing these football cards with me, or if you're a fan of the Pack to the Future podcast, please, the biggest way that you can help support the show is head on over to our website, pttfpodcast.com. From there, you will find promo codes where you can get discounts on your BCW storage supplies, on your Zion cases, but most importantly for us, each and every time that you go shop, say that you're going to also browse on eBay this week, go click our affiliate link, It is free for you to use. Everything you purchase in the next 24 hours of clicking on that link once you are logged in gives the show a small commission in the process, and we will love you forever. All right, let's get back into it. More Stroud. Let's talk about Exquisite. So this 2007 Exquisite Collection Combos. Now, this is a post-playing days card, if I'm not mistaken, of two of the all-time greatest running backs ever. These are on-card autograph, numbered to 25, Barry and Emmett. This, I think, is an excellent opportunity, and especially with these guys, I've talked about this before. You almost get a jersey parallel, like a home and away from these guys, and obviously playing on separate teams, but their color scheme makes this card work. I could see this card going for a huge number. Just 2 graded higher, and this B is for Beckett 9. This is a great card. I am watching it. I will make no secret about that, and I will probably try and go buy that card. I just think it is so cool. We get a crossover, CJ Stroud and Wembanyama. Boy, look at this. How about this? Whew. So we have 2 players, different sports. One doesn't even have a logo on, from 2024 Finest. And it is, at least currently, we're still 2 days away. I want to be mindful of that. Almost at the same price as the Barry Sanders Emmitt Smith. What are we doing, people? What in the world are we doing? We get more Kaboom. Boy, this immaculate Jordan Love looks really cool. On-card autograph. Love the photography. The design is sleek and simple. It's a 101 for 125. You got the rookie card shield on there. That card will undoubtedly see a price bump before it ends. We get more Brady, more quarterbacks. We get Bijan. Bijan's tough to know what to make of, for me, to be honest with you. He is an incredible player. I feel like some of his stats get poached by his backup running back. I feel that the team is not playing up to their level of potential. They've gone through a couple of different offensive coordinators and coaches in the last few years. I think there's a lot of potential with Bijan. And I know that Pack from Stacking Slabs Football Card Podcast, my favorite podcast in existence currently, is a big-time Bijan collector. So maybe I'll send this one. I'll like this, and I'll send it on over to him to make sure that he's got eyes on it. More Herbert. Now, we haven't talked about Chargers. Chargers look good. Chargers played their backups against the Broncos, which have a very anemic offense at times. But the Chargers look good, and I know that the Chargers are the Chargers. And when it comes to choke jobs, Chargers are going to do it. They might be different this year. And if I'm not mistaken, they've got New England in the first round. They do. No easy feat playing in New England against arguably one of the best teams in the AFC. Maybe this is the year for the Chargers to make a run. I know it sounds wild, but I could see a world in which it happens. Pen pals are always fun, always tricky when you get duels. But in this scenario, a couple of playoff quarterbacks, there's a world in which these two meet in the Super Bowl, in which case that's a pretty fun card. Eminence football, I've talked about Eminence before. The photos of Eminence do not do it justice. I can tell you that. I own a couple of Eminence cards. They are beautiful in person. I just wish they implemented game-used materials with it, and I think that it was one of the biggest missed opportunities in football card history to do it, and they totally screwed the pooch. And it makes me so mad that their patches were not game used. Larry Fitzgerald. Let's take a look at this. Larry Fitzgerald was one of my favorite receivers to watch of the 2000s, and the Arizona Cardinals run to the Super Bowl. He was a huge player in this, and I feel that he definitely does not get hobby love. All right, we head on over to Card Ladder to take a look at this, and again, this gold refractor out of Bowman Chrome. We tend to see the golds out of Bowman and Topps numbered to 50 as opposed to Panini where they're numbered to 10. This PSA 9 sold most recently a year ago. So it's been quite some time and sold for $1,000. And I totally get that. Of course, the one that's selling now is a PSA 8. And we just don't see many PSA 8s. Like, we're getting a lot of 9s. I wonder if Card Ladder has a pop report on this that we could take a look at. Yeah, there aren't many above this PSA 8. There's only 7 graded higher. And there's only 4 total of these. They estimate the price to be at $750. That wouldn't surprise me at all. I think it's a beautiful card of one of the greatest wide receivers of our generation to play. That's a pretty fun card, and historically could be a fun card to go back and look at too. All right, we get more Bo Nix Prism, more contenders. I feel like the shine, I just get lost in the Blue Wave and the Pulsar. I just feel like it's too much. Personally, I'm excited for a Topps change. Grass is always greener, I know, but I'll be excited to see what products they put out. These are still 2 great cards. Nothing against these cards at all. And the color match on the Bo Nix is perfect. And despite me saying that, I'm still going to keep an eye on that. This Barry Sanders and Impeccable. Those Impeccable cards are so nice. The thick card stock. And on most impeccable cards, this photo's not going to do it justice. The color almost looks like someone painted on canvas. And you know that this autograph's going to be on card. It's a special card. It looks fantastic. More color blasts, which look great. 97 finest. Boy, that's a good looking card there, Brett Favre. Patrick Surtain. You may have noticed, there's no surprise here. This is an XRC of PS2 and the reigning AFC Defensive Player of the Year. He might have just been Defensive Player of the Year, but the cornerstone definitely of the Broncos defense. And yeah, I've put some bids in on this, and I'm going to put some more bids on this one too. I think it's a great looking card. All right, last few of this page. All right, I think that about does it for our Fanatics. There are, of course, multiple more pages of that, but let's get on over, see what Golden has to offer before we wrap this one up. So this is Golden's weekly auction. This one ends on January 15th, so a few days after the Fanatics weekly auction. And I did sort this one just by singles and by football. So let's see what they have to offer. This gold downtown out of Optic, Bo Nix, numbered to 10. That's a pretty card. Boy, we start off with 3 bangers. This Josh Allen RPA. You may recall, if you're a Pack to the Future listener, Junkie Tim pulled one of these out of a box. It was actually a brand new case at our LCS. I had the first pick of the box, and I did not pick this one. The box that I had the Adam Thielen 1/1 that you may recognize from the intro to most of our songs or most of our shows is that audio. He hit the Josh Allen, immediately sold it, and you know that he would love to have that one back. This Brock Purdy gold kaboom with the 49ers colors. Boy, that card just pops. That's a gorgeous card. That is pretty. All right, we're getting Carson Beck. Boy, how about that for a timely one? If anyone watched the game last night, that one's certainly fun to watch. Be interesting to see what this card does. Bo Nix silver. We got some flawless. More Allen, more quarterbacks, which is no surprise. These wild cards, let's talk about this one, this Patrick Mahomes. So Wildcard had a massive booth at the National last year where they were promoting all sorts of products. And I got to tell you, the products looked really quite good. And in this scenario, I love what they've done with the photography of the card and being able to hide the fact that it's unlicensed, because you just really can't tell from this photo. Now, the sticker is autograph. It's kind of an odd theme. Like, I don't know what the Splatmo is, but this is a pretty cool card. And if you are a Patrick Mahomes collector, a Kansas City Chief fan, I imagine you're going to get this at a fairly decent price and a pretty cool card and put together. I love that they've got their own sticker. I always enjoy it when companies have their sticker on there. It just knows that it hasn't been busted open and someone's had their grimy fingers all over it. Boy, some more big cards. We've got a Penix gold. We've got a JJ blue out of Prism and a Ricky Pearsall. Boy, these are some big time cards. More CJ Stroud. Boy, hasn't that just been the theme of the week? More downtowns, more kabooms. The 2024 passing the torch. We know that those are stickers from back in the late 90s. We know that those were on card autographs. We talked about that in one of the early episodes of the Football Card Podcast. Still beautiful looking cards. Stained glass out of Obsidian. Let's take a look at this. We've talked about stained glass being in various products. Boy, that looks really good. That is a great looking card. Whew. Boy, Obsidian stained glass. I may have to go do a bit more investigation to see what that checklist looks like. JJ's not for me, but boy, that's a good looking card. Let's go one more page before we wrap up. Let's see what we've got here. Oh, a couple of Favres and some old school cards. Ultra Update, Stadium Club Brett Favre. Both of these you can get for dirt cheap. We got a Bo Jackson score rookie card, or score card, I should say. 1996 Upper Deck SPX autograph, Joe Montana. How about that? Let's go ahead and take a look at this card. The holograms that Upper Deck put out in the 90s were so much fun. That's a great looking card. Upper Deck Tribute, Joe Montana. You've got the hologram. Of course, him with the Chiefs. This autograph is on card. You have received a card personally autographed by Joe Montana, so we know that it was manufactured that way. This autograph was signed, was not obtained from a third party. That's really cool. I love it. And then you've got the authentication of Brian Burr, the president at the time. I think it's a great card. That's 96 Upper Deck SPX autographs. You know what? Let's take a look at that checklist, because if you're like me, I think that's a sweet card. Let's see who else is there. All right, so I haven't been able to find a checklist for this, but so I went over to eBay to see who else was there. And take a look at these cards. So this is 96 SPX, Joe Montana. And then we also see this with Thurman Thomas, Jerome Bettis. Does this take you back if you're around my age? Dan Marino. Now the Marino seems to be in the same tribute form. This is Record Breaker and the Montana is tribute. And these others appear to be a little bit different of card. So we've got Marino, we've got Carl Pickens. So there seems to be at least a few other players, autograph-wise. Marshall Faulk, pretty good looking card. Boy, I tell you what, Chris Warren, Steve Young. Boy, I can't find the checklist. So it makes it a little bit tricky and to know whether or not these were signed post or not. But regardless, I digress. Great looking card and one that is going to be fun for a collector to have. Okay, so let's finish up here. We see some more autographs. We get Allen and Ginter, Joe Montana. We see a Marshawn Lynch, and don't forget that he started his career with the Bills. You see his rookie card there. We get more Kaboom, more CJ Stroud. Wow, what a surprise. More CJ Stroud everywhere. It's almost like people don't trust him and they think that they're going to lose and they're trying to offload it. So there you have it. All right, well, hopefully you learned a little bit about some football cards this week. If there's another auction house that you would like to see me scroll through, pull up data on, let me know. Leave it in the comments below. I hope to bring you these each and every Friday. They're at least going to be available as I have time to do them. If you enjoyed this, please like, subscribe, share with someone. I'll see you next week. Enjoy the games.